Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's class, we're going to be looking at Roman numerals. How do we simplify Roman numerals? Okay, we're going to get to 100 today and subsequently we're going to continue. Sometimes people find this difficult, but in essence, it's actually very simple. Look at these figures by this side. I equal to 1, V equal to 5, X equal to 10, L equal to 50, C is equal to 100. Now, these are constant, okay? We just need to know these ones, just try to hold them at your fingertips. And if you know them, they will just guide you to find the rest. Now, there are simple rules that we must obey if we need to find Roman numerals. And what are these rules? Let's go there together. Now, here is rule 1. Each letter can only be repeated 3 times in a row. So, XXX is 30. Now, I is 3. Okay, we know for sure that I is equal to 1. We know that I equal to 2. And we know that I equal to 3. But how do we find 4? Should we write I into 4 places? No. Rule number 2, rule number 1 rather says this is wrong. So rule number 2 will help us. Now in number 2 rule, it says that if a letter, you know, is added before a letter with a greater value, they are subtracted from the amount. Now we know that in Roman numerals, I is 1, and we also know that V is 5. So V and I, which is greater? Of course, V is greater. So if I see IV, it's simply saying I coming before V, that I should subtract I from V. So I'm going to do 5 minus 1, which is 4. So this is how I find 4. Now, this is the same rule that will guide me in finding other letters like 9. Because, of course, I know that 5 is V. So how do I find 6? Let's even take it step by step. Now, rule number 3 is going to guide us. Now, how do we find 6? It's now going to continue from 5. 5 is V, and then V plus 1, VI is going to be 6. How? Because V is a bigger letter and then I is a smaller letter. And rule number 3 says if a letter with a greater value, is placed before a letter with a smaller value, you just add them together. So all this is simply saying is that I'm going to do 1 plus 5, which is 6. Now this is going to continue. I'm going to do VII to get 7, and I'm going to do VIII to get 8. But 9, we have to go back to rule 2. We know that X is 10, but we don't know what I and what 9 is. How do we find 9? So 9 is going to be 10 minus 1. So which is going to be I in front, I behind, and then X in front, which is saying 1 from 10. So 10 minus 1 will give us 9. That's it. So I know that IX is 9, and then I know that X is 10. So how do I find 11? 11 is going to continue from X. So XI, which is 1 plus X, 1 plus 10. Remember rule number 3, 1 plus 3, 1 plus 10 will give us 11. For 12, we're going to do 2 plus 10, which is 12. 13, we are going to do 3 plus x, which is 13. Now 14, we already know that 4 is IV. We add it to this, and that will give us 14. For 15, we already know that V is 5. We add it to 10. That is 15. 16 is going to continue X VI, because we know that VI is 6. 17, 18, 19, and then 20 is going to be 10 in two places, okay, which is XX. And 21, 22, it keeps on going like that. Now, this is the final rule. You can only subtract powers of 10. So you can either do I, you can subtract I, X, and C, which is 10, 1, 10, and 100. You cannot subtract from V or L. Of course, that is going to be, breaking the Roman numeral rules. So 95 is going to be 100 minus 10, which is 90, then plus 5, which is 95. So you see, the rules are very simple. All I'm going to do is just know these rules and then put them up. If you do VC, it's going to be, okay, I said you can subtract smaller number from a bigger number. This is wrong. Okay, so to find 90, we know that 90 is actually 100 minus 10, which means 100 minus 10 gives me 90. And this in Roman numerals is simply XC. So since XC is 90, all I'm going to do is just to do XCV to get 95. And then, since I know that this is 95, how do I get 96? 96, I'll simply XCVI. 97, XCVII. Sorry, VII gives us 97. 98, XCVII. 98. And then 99 is going to be, what will 99 be? 9 is IX. So we're going to have XCIX, right? XCIX. So which is simply saying 90 and 9, which is 99. And C is equal to 100. That's all. And you're good to go with your Roman numerals. Just remember these rules. Let's recap again. Rule number 1, you can't repeat any letter more than 3 times in a row. And then rule number 2, if a letter is placed before a letter with a greater value, it is subtracted from the amount. So we have IV to give us 5 minus 1, and that is 4. Rule number 3, if letters are placed after a letter with a greater value, they are added to the amount. So we have 1 plus 5 to be VI. And final rule, you can never and you should never subtract powers, other than 10, like you have I, X, and C. Anything outside there is wrong. Okay, this is me saying bye. Remember, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please support this project and subscribe to my channel, and I'll be very grateful. Thank you so much. Till the next class. Bye.